Hello, everyone. It's Michele Maher here, and I'm here joined with Linda Procopio.
That's
Procopio?
right. Yes.
Thank you so much, Linda, for giving me your time to talk about what we're going through right now and how we keep a positive mindset and get creative in our life and our business and pivot where possible. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So if
Thank
you
you
want to
so
give us,
much.
yeah, just give us an idea of what you are all about.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much for having me today. And thank you for those of you that are tuning in. We are, all in the same boat. We're all together in the uncertain times. And health, should be our number one issue, of course. We have to pivot our businesses, but we also have to put our health number one and make sure that we're, staying strong and building our immune systems. And what I do is I'm actually a nutrition consultant. So I've been able to really pivot my business and work with a lot of individuals online now. And what I do is I actually help you balance your hormones. Since insulin is the hormone that is basically the fat storage hormone, I'm sure a lot of you are experiencing, I call it the COVID-19, weight gain of 19 pounds. It's important to work on getting that weight off and just building your immune system to be stronger and having the proper gut health going on and making sure that you're taking the correct supplements. And you can actually achieve all of this through nutrition alone, without any injections, pills, shakes, powders, anything like that. And, but if you are taking any form of supplementation, it should be a professional grade supplement that you're looking at. So that's what I do. I basically guide my clients through this program that's all natural and just natural foods that you'd buy at a regular grocery store. And that's getting easier now too, the shopping at the grocery stores. You're not waiting 2 weeks to get online purchases. But, it's basically just eating wholesome foods, 3 meals a day, and balancing those hormones, which will help eliminate the visceral fat that most people find is around the belly area, right? And that's the most dangerous fat to have in the body. And this program will target that area so that you can get rid of the fat that's attached to your organs.
Right. Yeah. So it's really important, as we were saying before, that right now everybody has, is looking at their health and thinking, oh, I want my immune system to be the best it possibly can. And I know for myself at the beginning of this whole thing, as soon as everything started shutting down, I really felt that I was going into that black hole of fear. There was just so much fear because we lost control. All of a sudden, the whole future's uncertain. There were so many things, and I find that everybody was going through a lot of that fear and up and down and not even getting out of bed or whatever, watching Netflix all day at the beginning, which was also when we kind of thought it was going to be 3 weeks when the schools were shut down. And then, of course, that became more. And so now it's really, I think, having a routine is one thing that I think first people got back into that routine. And that's, to me, that was key, getting the routine. And then, as you say, and initially also, that was the other thing, the grocery stores, right? It was just, it was a big ordeal, and big shopping, it took you a few hours to go grocery shopping because you line up and wait and then line up to pay and so on. Or like you say, you couldn't get online pickup or anything like that. So that's changed now. And so it's going back to the basics, I guess, right? Eating wholesome foods.
Absolutely. Just, taking the time to prepare them. And, a lot of my clients before COVID happened felt it was a challenge that they faced so many events that they had to go to, like dinners and weddings and birthdays and things like that. So they had a hard time, sticking to the program, or they may have had, 1 or 2 more cheat meals than they were really allowed to have because of these functions. So now I'm telling people this is the perfect time when you're at home. You have the time to make the meals, or you can make the time to make the meals, and you can actually focus on, you're not going out as often to these functions. So there's really no excuse when it comes to, eating the healthier meals and not having these all these parties to go to where you may be tempted to have something outside of the norm.
Right. You're totally right. And then it's just like anything, it all starts with small steps.
Mm-hmm.
And this is really it's a lifestyle change.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike diets where you just go and do something for a certain time where you're sacrificing, this is something, the only way you're going to sustain it is to make a lifestyle change.
That's correct, 100%. And we focus on not eliminating any food groups either. So you're having your, about 20% protein, and then your carbs as well as your fats, very good healthy fats with every meal. So you're eating rye bread, let's say, with every meal, and wholesome vegetables, fruits, low glycemic fruits. And I can share a tip with everyone if you want to avoid bananas and oranges. They're very high in sugar. If you're trying to control your insulin, again, we talked about that. It's very important to eat more of the berries and papaya, mango, that type of fruit.
Bananas are high in sugar. I didn't realize
Yes.
that, and I wouldn't have really thought that.
Mm-hmm,
That's very
mm-hmm.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And now I believe some of the farmers markets are also opening up. So it's like the perfect time in terms of getting your fresh vegetables.
And I hope that some of you may have even planted a garden this year. I know I did, just a small one, like 4x4. And
right.
I got
a
one
lot
of those
people did.
raised garden beds, so I planted fresh lettuce, I've got onions, I have carrots growing, and all my herbs. I love, fresh herbs just make the food better. Which brings me to another tip, and is that there's so many hidden sugars in foods and like sauces that you want to put on your food for flavors. So if you can avoid the sauces, like ketchup has a lot of sugar, barbecue sauce has a ton of sugar. There's so many hidden sugars in all the sauces that are out there, and relish, mustard tend to be okay, but just so many things that you want to try to enhance and flavor your food with. You can actually be using fresh herbs from the garden or fresh herbs that you buy at the grocer, so that your food will just taste amazing if you use that as opposed to a sauce.
Yeah, I did know that sauces are always the culprit. What about olive oil?
Olive oil, yes, yeah. So a really good quality olive oil is good, because some of the ones that are just on the shelf at the grocery stores that are a little bit of a cheaper brand tend not to be pure olive oil, as they say. It's not regulated enough for them to actually, even if it contains like even a small portion of olive oil, that's actually the real stuff, they can actually say pure extra virgin olive oil. So you have to be really careful and just look for the better brands and not these large commercially produced brands. I actually get my olive oil from a friend who gets it right from the town in Greece that her father makes. So very fortunate that way. Or I've had, some nice Italian extra virgin olive oil brands that were also given to me from smaller grocers that even produce their own. So just be really, really careful and cautious. And if you guys ever want to reach out to me about that, I can offer you some suggestions as to where you can purchase it. And also the produce, I've become very resourceful in finding produce. And I find a lot of places that were selling to restaurants. Unfortunately, the restaurants not being open, they decided that these wholesale places are now selling retail. So I found a few places online where you can actually get fresh produce shipped to your house as well, and you're not waiting 2 weeks like grocery stores, and it's so fresh and amazing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh. There's a place in Markham called Terra Produce, Terra, and you could just go online, order whatever you want, and they have certain days that they ship to different cities. So they are in Markham, but they ship as far west to Bolton. And I'm in Vaughan, so they ship to like Maple and Woodbridge, I think, on Tuesdays. And Saturday, they actually have pickup at their location. So I haven't taken advantage of going there, but I know that they've shipped many times to my home, and it's really, really fresh produce. It's amazing.
And this was a company that was supplying restaurants, yes, only doing wholesale.
That's correct. Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's an example of a business pivoting
Exactly.
in this environment so that they can continue to have clients to serve.
Exactly. Yes. Oh yeah. They're really good. And the prices are reasonable. They didn't inflate the prices at all. They're very reasonable compared to the grocery stores, and really fresh quality. So.
And fresher because it's coming right there. Yeah. Okay. That's very interesting. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. So I don't know what your experience was at the beginning, but I know for myself, it was, like I say, right into the fear. Social media was so negative, just going downhill. And so that's why I just felt propelled into action and started doing these interviews with the amazing entrepreneurs that I know. And I still feel like it, still my emotions have been a bit of a roller coaster going through this whole thing, because even though we've now, at the beginning, everything was changing hour by hour. And then we got into and now we're 3 months later, we're into a new way of doing business, and a new way of just, our life running. But I have found myself still, I can fall into those negative emotions, worrying about the future, that kind of thing. What about what was your experience like over the past 3 months?
Well, in the beginning, I have to say the first week, when everything was just kind of being so serious and so fearful and all that, honestly, for a week, I was kind of in shock, and I just I just kind of had to let it all absorb, and I was sad. I'm going to admit it. I was probably a little depressed for a couple of days, right? Just thinking, what's going on here and why is this happening? All these questions and mind chatter going on in your head. And then I realized, okay, I always try to see the positive in every situation. So thankfully, I've been able to do that throughout my whole life. And I've faced some challenges, as I'm sure we all have. And so I just tried to, break myself out of that. And I did after a few days. And I thought, okay, I have to see the positive in this situation. And I was saying, that I do a lot of house calls, right? So I see my clients face to face, and I was saying that it was taking a toll, and not being able to see enough clients throughout the day. Like I could maybe see 2 or 3. And so I thought, okay, now I can pivot my business, have it online, see people through Zoom calls, thankfully for Zoom and all these other wonderful, Facebook Live, whatever modalities that we have online are awesome, where we can do that, and we have power and electricity still, which is great. I can't imagine going through this without that. Right? And so having that, I was able to pivot my business where I could just see clients online, and as long as they have their own scale to weigh themselves. And I sent everybody out a measuring tape, a tailor-made measuring tape, so that they would have that, so they could measure themselves also. And we just continued the every 2 weeks. And actually, I even suggested we could do weekly weigh-ins if they wanted, because the time that's saved of traveling, having to go to their home, right? So I could see 10 clients in one day if I wanted to, right? So it was amazing, and I could still ship out my supplements. And I also provide water ionizers for people, so I was still able to ship that out to them and have videos and demos online. So again, thank you, to the universe for allowing us to still have power during this challenging time. I can't imagine that.
No, that would be an entirely different world. Right? We're so fortunate that we have this technology, so that we have been able to continue. And because it is hard when we don't see people, especially at the very beginning, when all of a sudden you're supposed to stay in your house and only go out to get your groceries or medication or anything you might need that's essential. For people like us that are entrepreneurs, we were working from home already, but we were also going out to networking events, going out and seeing clients, even meeting, having a coffee meeting with somebody, and all of a sudden all of that was gone. So it's been difficult, but like you say, very thankful that we have this technology. so that
Right,
we
right.
can connect with people, and the time savings as well when we don't have to commute as
Absolutely.
well. And
So,
the, online networking now is global,
hmm
so you can connect with anybody throughout the
absolutely.
world.
And we both run, our Fem Cities online. We're able to do that too,
Right.
which is nice, right? So I
Yes,
think,
again, we miss seeing everybody in person. We miss the hugs, right? It's
yeah,
definitely something that is that we do miss, but we're able to still connect through Zoom, and you can still have those conversations. And in some cases, the conversations have even been more intimate in some ways, because we're actually seeing people inside of our own homes, which,
absolutely. I agree.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So, and in terms of a morning routine, you must have some sort of morning routine that you start, and I mean that you continue to do, but of course, I'm sure that first week it was just all over the place.
Yeah, I was for sure. It was everywhere, and I was out of my routine, right? So,
Yeah, I
and
think a
and then
lot of us were.
yeah, and I have three grown adult children, and my daughter just bought a home, and my other daughter decided, she couldn't go back and forth between her boyfriend and here, so she decided to stay there. So that was a huge transition. And my son working from home too. We don't have a home office, so we had to kind of just make things work, right? And we're both kind of in the kitchen, and we just took over the whole kitchen per se. So you just make it work and then enjoy it, and then make the best of the situation, right? So you have to adjust and hope that things just start to go back. I see that it's getting somewhat normal, whatever you want to call normal
Well,
nowadays, but
yes,
it's getting there.
at least things are opening to
Yeah.
a certain extent, and it's going to be a while though, but before we go back to having our live events that we were accustomed to going to. And
Yeah.
and that was the case for me. I had vendor tables that were booked March, April, May, and of course all those events have been postponed to the fall, and some have been moved to online. But it's not the same for myself, as I was saying, having a vendor table. It's not the same online. So we have to
No.
kind of. It's time to get creative and creative in our
Abs-
business, and this is when innovation happens.
Absolutely. And and my routine was, when I started getting back into it, was getting up in the morning. I do some positive affirmations, which I find really help. And then, make my espresso. I actually switched to decaf espresso. That was a big thing. and, and then I make, a healthy breakfast. And then, it was great because then I had the time to like really think about, okay, what are we going to have for lunch, and then prepare a healthy lunch, and then work in between, of course, and do my workout if I can. It was great that I could join online yoga classes whenever I felt like it, and whereas
Right.
before I had to schedule those in and get to the yoga studio. And my yoga studio was awesome. They were offering free online yoga classes for the first couple months. Fantastic. And, just getting a walk in, going for a bike ride, whatever it may be, just trying to get some fresh air throughout the day. And it did help, obviously when the weather got better, because in the beginning, remember, we had some really cold weeks, right? So
We did, yeah.
yeah. And
Right
then
into May.
you're right. I know. And then we got this beautiful weather now, which is so nice. We have to take advantage of it, because if, there is that second wave, then we may be facing a long winter indoors. So get outside as much as you can, and really, really enjoy and embrace the sunshine, and, and make the best of it. It's
Yeah,
all mindset, right? So having that
it
positive mindset, and you need to have those, maybe that affirmation in the morning, just to tell yourself that it's going to be a great day.
right, true. And that's what it all is. It all comes down to perspective, and being able to accept that this is happening, and think of the positive. The fact we don't know, there's so much uncertainty around the future. Right now we're living in the present moment, we're living in the now, and we never did that before. We were
Mhm.
always rushing, what's the next place I'm going to?
Right.
Next thing I'm doing. And now you can actually look at yourself and the way you were living your life and what are your values and things like that, and decide who you want to be.
Absolutely. It is an awakening, I call it, this period. And I often read Eckhart Tolle. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but he speaks about living in the moment.
Just reading that on Audible, The Power of Now.
Yes, it's an amazing book. And you know, if you don't, he says, if you don't worry about the past and if you don't worry about the future and you're just enjoying the moment right now, you can't have a problem. A problem does not exist. Like right now, you and I chatting on this Zoom call, do we have a problem? No, we don't, right? We're having a good time. We're chatting. And so if you live every day like that and every moment, just enjoying what you're doing, then you can't, and then you won't have any problems to worry about.
That's true. And if you think in the past, any time that you have worried, what good has come of it? It just causes you stress. And how many times do you worry about something and then it really doesn't happen?
Yes.
And of course, worry suppresses your immune system, as stress does too, right? So it's not something that we want to do right now.
No, with the cortisol levels rising in your body, like so much happens in your body when you're stressed, and it really brings down your immune system. So it's important to do some deep breathing, yoga. You know, there's so many free classes online now that you could still take advantage of. And it'll just help you feel so much better if you bring the stress levels down, and you won't be retaining fat too, because that's what happens to your body too. It just kind of starts to hold on to everything because it's stressed, right? So
yeah. So it's that brings me to another point. There's a lot online, because as everybody came online, there were countless webinars being offered from people that you'd normally pay thousands of dollars for. They were offering free webinars. Then there was just the opportunity to learn so much and to sign up for so many things. I found myself a bit overwhelmed, probably beginning of April, as I was signing up for so many things, because there were so many things I was interested in. But of course, you need time to process in between. So like, this is also the time to figure out what is there something you wanted to learn? Is there something you wanted to do in your business? So many options are out there.
Absolutely. And if you're facing, maybe your company downsizing, for those of you that are working for, that you have employers and they're downsizing, and, if you're one of these people that are like, look at it as a whole new door opening up, and maybe you might want to explore something that maybe you're more passionate about, or, there's so many opportunities out there, right? That we might not think there are, but there are a ton of opportunity that I've seen and I've heard about. And I know of some, if any of you are facing a challenge right now where you've, you stopped working and you're looking for something new, you can always reach out, because I know I have quite a few people in my network that can point you in the right direction if you tell me what you're passionate about. And some are in the health industry that, you can start your own business in promoting health. So
yeah, which is and I mean, health and well-being is something that is just more important and more important as we go on. And so definitely this is the time for people to just reflect on, were you happy as well? Like you say, when you look at it as one door opening and for a new opportunity, there's so much and everything's out there to learn too. Like, everything's either out there to learn, or there's people who will help you. There's so many people. It's really nice to see everybody coming together as a community, helping one another and wanting to serve, and just with genuine concern, because like you say, we're all going through the same thing, and we all have never been through anything like this before.
It's so true. And I feel as a country, Canada is doing amazing. If you look at the amount of cases we have and the deaths, like, it's it's very, I'm just really impressed with our country coming together the way we have, and staying home and following the guidelines. And it's not fun living in fear, but we're doing what we're doing to keep our families and ourselves safe. And I'm really impressed with that compared to some of the other countries that are maybe not respecting what they should be doing.
Right. Yes. Yes. So that's why we need to keep our border closed.
Yeah. Right.
But
yeah.
yeah.
I miss the travel though. I do. Yeah, I do. But you know what? Hey, Canada is a beautiful country, and I think I'm planning a trip out west maybe this year, or out east. There's so much to explore.
This is giving us, everybody, the opportunity to see Canada.
Yeah.
If you haven't, there's so many vast regions, and the landscape changes so much from coast to coast. So yeah, there's definitely, it does. And I think we're all missing travel for sure. And we're missing, just contact with others and things like that. But the fact is that we have the technology, and we have so many people, and everybody's willing to help. So this is the time to just be kind and not judge each other, and just be kind and helpful wherever we can to get us through this together.
100%. Work as a team, and just embrace whatever's happening as much as possible in a good sense, and look after yourself, look after your health.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, thank you so much, Linda, for your time. It was great talking to you. And yeah, that's exactly it. Without health, where are you?
Right. So, absolutely. Money doesn't matter as much as health, for sure.
No, actually, that brings me back. Sorry, just one thing. That brings me to the point that this virus, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how much money you have.
No.
You still have to, you're still isolated in your home, because you're as susceptible to the virus as anyone else. So it's the health is definitely very important, and something that we need to. And I think everybody's realized that for sure now.
Which is good. I think that's what needed to happen. Even for Mother Earth needed to, have less pollution going on too, and it was kind of making a statement, I think, right?
I think so too. Yeah, with all those natural disasters and everything that just kept happening more frequently, it just we couldn't keep going at the pace we were going as well. So we've really had to sit back, slow down, and decide, and look at what's important to us.
Absolutely, yes. And thank you so much for your time today too, Michelle. And thank you for those that are listening. And if you need anything, please feel free to reach out. We're here to help.
Yeah, I will put your information underneath this interview when I put it up as well.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for your time, and have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy this beautiful weather, and I look forward to when we can see each other together once we're back at our Fem City lunches in person.
That'd be great. Thank you. I look forward to that too, and have a wonderful weekend. Bye.
Thank you.